it is essential to find something that you are good at, because a person cannot be good at many things. You are good at a few things. And these few things are the fields in which you can find a place to be authentic and to express yourself. Well, if you take a footballer into account, say Messi or Ronaldo, they are going to just swim and jump and skip around on the playing field and score goals, and everyone is just awed by them on the field. But if you were to take them and place them on the basketball court, say, well, they would be just sitting ducks. And on the basketball court, if Ronaldo or Messi were to show any kind of aggression that they can show on the football field, and they do just fine. But if they were to show that on the basketball court, well, things would not go very well for them. Well, the same thing applies in your life as well. And that is one way in which you can find confidence in yourself. A field in which you feel very competent at. That is one method in which you can explore your authenticity. Now, like we talked earlier about the various micro-personalities or roles that are imposed upon us as we move through, they stop serving a purpose later on. Now, if you keep kicking an iron wall, it is only going to hurt. Therefore, it is essential to transform yourself. It is better to get rid of these roles which only provide you with misery and adopt newer roles. Say, for example, that will be of greater value or benefit. Now, while exploring these newer roles that you would like to experiment with. Now, by roles, I do not mean exactly adopting a new role. What I mean is adopting a role of being your authentic self. Now, one way in which you can become more authentic is to try and integrate your shadow. Now, what I mean by shadow are characteristics or part of your personality that you keep hidden from the external world, or qualities which are usually frowned upon by the society. These qualities include aggression, greed, lust, pride, envy, well, you get the idea. Now it is essential to integrate some of this into your regular personality so that it is good for your own well-being. Well, it is essential to get rid or burn down the dead and decomposing parts of you so that new shoots can grow in its place and give rise to bigger and greener trees. Now, while trying to integrate the shadow, it is important to surround yourself with like-minded people or people who support you and support this kind of transformational journey. Because if you were to try and behave in a newer way around the people you meet every day, well, chances are that they will try to put you in your place. And what I mean by place is they are already used to a certain role that you play. And if you were to deviate from that role, then it causes the other person discomfort, and they have to find a new way to relate to you, which most people will not want to do, because people do not like change or irregularities in their daily life. Now, if these qualities or the shadow is not well integrated into your personality, they often come out as bursts in your environment, and people least expect it because they have never seen you disagree with them or be angry with them, and all of a sudden you just explode. Why? Well, all of these things which happened to you, which you did not like, contribute to the growth of your shadow, and it keeps growing into resentment, and this resentment keeps growing and growing and growing, and once it cannot be contained, it just explodes. This can be seen in instances like mass shootings, for example. It's an ongoing joke that it is always the quiet kid. Well, that is something to think about, because there is always some truth disguised in jokes. The other example could be self-sabotage or suicides, for example, where one just destroys themselves or destroyed themselves because they cannot contain the nature of their shadow, the resentment anymore. Now, an immediately usable way to integrate your shadow, and you may think it is something very complex. Well, at a certain level it is, but the starting is very simple. The most useful tool to start integrating the shadow is saying no. Say no to something you dislike. Say no to something you do not want to do. Say no when you do not like the way someone is treating you. And you can be polite about it. Well, it's not like you're picking a fight. You are just expressing your opinion. Something that comes from within you. Something that is essential to your own well-being. Well, saying no is a way of saving yourself from yourself. It also prevents the buildup of resentment, and it is better for you in the long run. Now, another important key in self-transformation is reflecting on past experiences. They say the past, the ink in which the past is written in, never dries. Well, your perception of the past experience that was somehow uncomfortable to you can change with time. Things can look different once you look back into that experience. Now, these experiences can not only include things that happened to you, but also to the people around you. Well, you can often think, why did that happen? Or how could that have happened? It was not my fault that that happened. An experience which you had when you were, say, 13 is interpreted differently when you look back at the same experience when you are 23, and it looks just worlds apart the way you interpret it. That experience can completely change its meaning. Now, this is done because as you grow older, you get exposed to newer tools and environments. And using these tools, you disintegrate and reconstruct those past experiences in a way that is constructive to you and gives you a new view about yourself. One of the best methods which I have found to revisit the past is by writing about it, because it gives you an overview, subtracting the emotions linked to it. It makes the experience more objective and easier to process. Well, transformation is not at all easy. It takes time. It takes a lifetime, in fact. But it is these gradual processes and work which will help you be a better person than you were yesterday. Be authentic.